I used to fight so hard to be in control of my own life. And especially as an entrepreneur, first starting out in those early years, I wanted to know what was going to happen. I wanted to know the plan. I wanted to have a vision for our business and what direction we were working towards and where we were going to end up. In a sense, having vision for your business is not a bad thing at all. But I was in a season where I wanted to know the vision because I wanted to have control. I wanted to do it in my own strength. I wanted to have control. I wanted to determine my own steps. In doing so, I was removing God from the equation and really trying to force my own way, which is not at all what God wants for us. In that season, He broke that in me through incredible difficulty, being hit on all sides from parenting, marriage, anxiety, depression, and our business even failing. Me just crying out and coming to the end of myself to realize that in my own power and in my own strength, I had capsized the ship. I had failed. I didn't have what it took, and God needed to teach me that. Not out of punishment, but out of like, look, Amy, I want you to surrender that control, surrender your life. Trust me, move in faith, and let me show you that you don't need to know the plan. You don't need to know what's next. You just need to trust me in that. I had the season of breaking and just finally just coming to the end of myself and just allowing God to just take it over. Then I went into a season of just letting go of the plan, letting go of ambition, letting go of goals. And that sounds really weird. In my own worldly perspective, that sounds lazy and it sounds just so counterintuitive to work hard and strive and have a plan and set goals and have vision. All good things, but needed a season of grace to renew my mind and renew the way that I thought about planning and about vision and about goals. Because the way that I had been thinking was unhealthy. It was not the way that God wanted me to be thinking about those things. I knew that in my season, I knew that that's what God was asking me to do, that it wasn't for forever. It was just for a season of just living day to day, of just allowing what comes next and saying, God, I don't need to know why. I don't need to know what's coming next. All I need to know is, what am I doing today? And even Jesus in the Bible teaches the disciples to pray. And he said, give us this day our daily bread. So give us this day what we need for today. And Bible also says, like, do not worry about anything. Worrying will not add a day to this life. So don't worry about what comes next. Don't worry about what you're doing a year from now. And in that season, man, he changed my thought process and he changed my mind and he changed my thoughts. But it took a good year of just feeling very uncomfortable at the beginning. I feel like I have no direction. But at the same time, just this grace in the back of my mind of God saying, this is part of relearning new things, and you're not being ambitious or working hard, but I'm just teaching you to rely on me and to rely on my strength and to know that you don't need to control and you don't need to have a plan. So then coming out of that season now today, where my head's at is I don't need to know the plan. God has given me vision for certain areas of my life. The biggest change is that when God gives me a vision now, it's trusting that God is going to get me there. It is trusting that God is going to open those doors and he is going to move on my behalf and he is going to work. And I need to show up every day and do what I can do. I need to be obedient and to surrendered and to allow him to work through me. But I am not forcing these doors to open or taking credit for what is happening. I am being obedient to what it is that he asked me to do today. And there is freedom in that. Thank you that your ways are higher than my ways. And I don't need to worry about all those things, because when I start to worry about all those things, I get overwhelmed. And there's all of these details and all of these moving things that I cannot control. And I'm so glad that God does. I am so glad that He controls those things, and I can rest in His grace, and I can move in His strength and not in my own. And it took seasons of breaking and seasons of hardship to teach me to think differently. But I'm so grateful for what He's brought me through, and really feeling like I am being led by God and led by the Spirit instead of walking in my own way.